Good morning. Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday. I'll give you just a moment to come and gather. Roll out your mats and get your coffee or your tea or your water, whatever you need. And join me for Deep Power this morning. Thanks for being here. So I wanted to chat for just a moment this morning before we start our practice, or actually part of our practice. As many of you know, I teach a Yoga for Wellness course at Westminster, and we've been having some discussions lately about happiness and ways in which people seek happiness, and even some misguided ways. And it's kind of related to a philosophical principle of yoga, one of the niyamas called Santosha. And Santosha translates as contentment or satisfaction, or you might venture to say happiness. But more specifically, Santosha is contentment beyond conditions. And so this is kind of an easy principle to talk about, but it's a little bit harder to practice. So a particular kind of contentment or satisfaction that's not dependent upon what's happening to us or around us, right? I think we get stuck in life very often thinking, well, I would be happy if, the sun were shining, or I'd be happy if I had $1 million. And so we keep kicking the can down the road, pushing our happiness along with it, right? And it's funny, I actually read a quote, I think it was Jim Carrey, that he said, I wish everyone could be famous and rich and have everything they ever wanted, to realize that that's not the answer. And this notion that there is a contentment that's available to us, that is available to us in every single moment. And I do believe that we practice this through mindful awareness, right? Being present and available to the moment that we're in, and not some future moment out there somewhere beyond our reach, beyond what is happening in our present moment experience. And so that is one reason why we come here to our mat to practice yoga, is to practice presence and any sort of contemplative practice. And so we're going to do that today, practice presence. So find your seat and close your eyes. And we're going to open up with one of my favorite ancient Sanskrit poems. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the realities and truths of existence. The joy of growth, the splendor of action, the glory of power, the sweetness of love, and the exquisite pain of loss. For yesterday is but a memory, and tomorrow only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a memory of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. So part of our practice this morning is looking to this day, to this breath, to this moment. Can you feel into your breath right now? The expansion and contraction, the gentle movement, the ebb and the flow. And the breath is such a reliable reminder of our present moment experience, coming back to the breath that is always happening in the body. And so as you draw your next breath in through the nostrils, I'd like for you to hold the top of the breath for just a moment, all the way full. And then exhale out the mouth, just let out a sigh. Maybe relax through the shoulders and the jaw. And again, like that, a full breath in through the nose, sitting up straight and tall. And exhale out the mouth, just let it release. Maybe letting go of some tension or some angst. And one more just like that, full breath in. Holding all the way full. Exhaling out the mouth and letting it release. Good. And you can move toward your Ujjayi breath, if you're familiar with that. And let's start to move through the upper body. So we'll start just by moving like a wave. Moving the spine, the upper body and the torso. Good. Perfect. And then maybe you start to take this in more of a circle or a gentle twist or a figure 8 or a forward fold. Just start to move organically and intuitively in your body. Something that feels mobilizing and therapeutic, exploring range of motion and opening. Good. And then gently we're going to bring the hands back behind us and uncross the legs. Bring your feet to the floor. Lift and open up through your heart. And just windshield wiper your knees side to side. So moving a little bit here through the hips and the low back. And again, we're just starting to loosen things up a little bit, warm things up a bit at a time. And if the mind starts to wander or create judgments or stories, just come back to your breath. One more round here. Good. And then come forward now to the hands and the knees. As you come forward, feel here into that connection to your core, the belly lifted and strong. And then as you inhale, lift through your tailbone, open your chest, a gentle back bend. And then exhale, round your spine, chin to chest. And inhale, open it up. And exhale, round your spine. This is cat-cow. One more like that, inhale. And exhale. Then come back to center, back to neutral. Lift at the belly and move into your first downward facing dog of practice. So lift up through your hips, push the ground away with the hands, arms alongside your ears. As the spine is straight and lengthened and long, and maybe a little bit of pedaling through your feet, shifting your weight from one foot to the other. Good. And noticing breath and sensation and even thought and emotion that are present for you in this moment. Taking another full breath here, feeling into the ground through both hands and through both feet. Go ahead and bend your knees and look forward toward your hands. Take a step or light hop forward toward the top of your yoga mat. Lengthen your spine, so lift chest and belly away from the thighs, extend through the crown of your head. Exhale, fold back in. Good, do that one more time. So inhale, flat back, stretch forward, lengthen. Exhale, fold, and bring it in. Good, hang out here for an extra breath or two, maybe shaking your head or nodding your head. Either way, just feeling into that lengthening through maybe the back of your neck, crown of the head toward the floor. Feel your feet on the ground. You're going to come all the way up to standing. So as you anchor the feet, you stretch the arms all the way up, reaching up tall. Exhale, bring your hands together in front of the heart. Good. Inhale, arms reach back up. Open up and lengthen. And then exhale, dive forward, coming into your forward fold. Fingertips down toward the floor. Halfway lift on the in-breath, so coming into that spinal extension. Exhale, fold. And make your way to plank pose. So hands to the floor, step your feet back, and pause here for a moment. So building a little bit of heat and strength in the arms and your core here in your upper push-up position. Nice. You can think about if you had a block between your thighs, pulling in toward that midline. Lift through your belly. And then on your next exhale, shift the whole body forward just a little bit and lower down slowly, Chaturanga Dandasana. Good. Point your toes and inhale into a little Cobra pose. Shoulders back and away from the ears. Take an extra breath here, opening through the heart. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips up. Just starting to feel the body warm up a little bit at a time. Good. Take a couple more breaths here. Heels move toward the floor. Tailbone continues to lift up and the thigh bones back. Spine neutral. Take one more breath here. Bend your knees and look forward toward your hands. Step or hop toward the top of your mat. Flat back as you inhale, extend, lengthen. Exhale, fold. All the way up to standing on your next in-breath. Reach up tall and open. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Good, you guys. Now bend your knees and sit into a chair pose, Utkatasana, or fierce pose. Knees and shins and thighs parallel. Take an extra breath here. Sit just a little bit deeper, as though you're literally going to sit back into your imaginary chair. Open up your chest. Exhale, dive forward, folding it in. Halfway lift as you inhale, lengthen your spine. Plant your hands to the floor, step or hop back, move through your Chaturanga. Inhale, Cobra, or all the way to up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stretch your right leg back behind you and up. So you're coming into a three-legged downward facing dog. Take an extra breath here, reaching through your leg and your toes. Lift your leg up one more little inch. Exhale, pull your right knee in toward your chest. Use your core here. Step your foot all the way through. Let's come down to this back knee for a moment. You can pad that knee with the edge of your mat, or if you have a blanket handy, bring your hands to your right thigh. Square off the hips, So that right hip hugs back a little bit, left hip forward. Send your arms up. Good, so this is a low lunge, and we'll bend the elbows here and start to open the chest some and deepen into the lunge, feeling into that back thigh. Stay strong at your core. And maybe for the last couple breaths, you can straighten back out through the arms, starting to reach back behind you. And then exhale, bring the hands back to the floor. Pick up your back knee, step your right foot to plank, and shift your weight into your right hand, and we'll come into Vashistasana, side plank pose. Flex your feet back, your toes back toward your shins, pull your hips up. You can always come down to a knee or a forearm for a little more support. Take that left arm forward alongside your ear, and maybe float your left leg up, away from your right leg. Awesome, you guys. Take another breath. Bring it back through plank. You can go right to down dog or take a chaturanga here, lower down, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, pause for a moment. Left leg stretches back. Take an extra breath here, root down through your hands, lengthen and reach through your left leg and toes. Exhale, hug your left knee in toward your chest. Use your core, step your foot through and drop down to your back knee. Hands to your left thigh. You can pad that right knee if that's helpful. And then send your arms up. So breathe here, hugging that left hip back, right hip forward, strong and lengthened. We'll bend the elbows here as we did on the other side. Shift a little bit deeper into that lunge if you're able. Open up your chest. Stay strong at your core. And maybe for these last couple of breaths, re-extend the arms, reaching back behind you a little bit. Last full breath. Good. Release the hands back to the floor. Pick up your back knee. Step your left foot to plank pose. Shift your weight into your left hand and roll to the outer edge of your left foot. Vashistasana. Again, you can modify by coming down to the knee or forearm. If you'd like to here, stretch your right arm forward. Strong legs, strong core. Maybe float that right leg up. Take one more full breath here. And bring it back, plank pose, your choice. Chaturanga or skip it. And go directly to downward facing dog. Good, let's all meet up in downward dog. And we're going to tiptoe the feet forward just a little bit, a couple of inches, and then tiptoe your feet out a little bit. So your feet are at about the edges of your mat. So your feet are a little wider than normal. Now, twisting down dog. Root down with your right hand, unweight your left hand, and take your left hand around to the outer right foot, ankle, or calf. It's okay for your knees to be a little bit bent here. Pull your right hip back away from the right shoulder. Root down through your right palm and start to open up your chest toward that right side. Take 2 more breaths here. Good, and then unweight that left hand, bring it to the floor, other side. So feel your feet on the ground, press with your left hand, unweight your right hand, reach it around to the outer left foot or ankle or calf. Pull your left hip back away from the shoulder. Maintain your breath here. A couple more rounds, opening your chest to your left. Good, you guys. And then release out of that. Right hand back to the floor. You can bring your feet back together. Bend your knees and look forward. Step or hop towards your hands. Lengthen out your spine on your inhale. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees and sit back into your chair pose, like this. Good. Now we're going to come into a twist. So bring your hands together at your heart. Keep your legs strong and sturdy and try not to move your legs much here. We're going to twist to the right using our core. Okay, so your right hip will have a tendency to pull back. Try to keep them level. Use your core. Maybe place your left elbow on top of your right knee or thigh as a little bit of leverage, and pull your chest toward your thumbs and the thumbs toward the center of your chest. Good, and you could spread the arms here. Right arm reaching up, left arm down. Good, take another cleansing breath here in your twist, and then gently come back to your chair pose, hands together at the heart. Keep your legs bent, dig deep, you guys. We're gonna twist the other way. So keep your knees and shins, thighs level, and twist to your left. Use your core here. Pull the belly in and strong. So you're gonna maybe take the right elbow down and let it rest on your left knee or left thigh. Good. Pull your chest toward your thumbs, thumbs toward your chest. Point that left elbow straight up toward the ceiling, and then straighten out your arms if you'd like. Left arm reaching up, right arm down. Good. Take another full breath here. Whew. And release, come into a forward fold. Let it go. Shake your head out. Now, lengthen to your flat back as you inhale. Place your hands at the very top of your mat. So you might need to shift your feet back a little bit as we set up for crow pose or Bakasana. So hands to the floor. Lift the heels of your feet up. So you're starting to shift some of your weight toward your hands. Your knees come up to your triceps above your elbows. Look forward, lean forward a little bit, and then lift through your core. Maybe float your feet off of the mat. You can practice that a couple of times. Good, and then step back to plank, or you can jump it back to your chaturanga. Move through that vinyasa. Good, now send right leg back, reach it up. Bend your leg and open through your hip this time. So the right knee will open out to the right as though you're trying to lift and stack that right hip over your left. Take an extra breath here. Right foot steps through for a high lunge or a crescent lunge. So your arms will come up. The back heel is lifted off of the mat. So if by straightening out this back leg, if that bugs your low back, try putting a little bend in that back knee. Let's take another breath here. And now we're going to take the right hand to the right thigh. Right hand to right thigh. Try to keep everything squared off. Reach through the left arm and the left fingertips. Come into a little bit of a side bend, like you're trying to reach the left fingertips up and over to the right. Take another breath here. Now we're going to aim the left elbow over to the right knee. If that's too much, bring your left hand or fingertips to the floor or a block. Otherwise, keep it there and come into that prayer twist that we just were in our chair pose. Lift your chest up toward your thumbs, thumbs toward the chest. Maybe spread the arms here. Good. Make sure you're breathing, you guys. Take one more cleansing breath here. Okay, now listen carefully. The legs are going to stay the same. We're going to bring the torso and the arms upright and bend that back knee at a hover. So this is a funky little twisting turbo lunge. Keep your inner thighs squeezing toward that midline, reaching through your arms and fingertips. Opposite directions, bend that back knee even more. Maybe even touch that back knee and bring it back up. Last breath here, you guys. And then unwind out of that back to your upright lunge. Exhale, hands down. Now you'll appreciate this. We're going to walk the hands all the way to the left side of the mat. Spin the right toes so you're in a wide-legged straddle. Forward fold. Flat back as you inhale. And exhale, fold. Woo! 5 deep breaths here. Good. On your next breath, you see if you can draw just a little bit deeper crown of the head toward the floor. Maybe the crown actually makes contact with the floor. Good. Your next inhale, we're coming up to a flat back. Walk the hands back toward the top of the mat. Step back to plank. Hug the belly in, chaturanga. Inhale, open up, cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Good. All righty. Left leg stretches back. Lengthen it up. Bend your leg open through your hip. Take a couple of breaths here. Try not to lose foundation in your hands or your right foot as you point your left knee out to the left. Step it through, coming into high lunge. And so we'll start here, the arms up alongside the ears. Again, you can put a little bend in that back knee or fire it up and keep it straight, squaring off the hips toward the front of your mat. Reaching up tall, take your left hand to your left thigh. Reach the right arm up, and we're going to go up and over to the left a little bit. So a gentle side stretch. Good. Now we're going to aim the right elbow over to the left knee. If that's too much, bring the right hand to the ground or a block. Otherwise, bring your palms together in that prayer twist. Point that left elbow up toward the ceiling. Move your chest toward your thumbs, thumbs toward the chest. Good. Take an extra breath here. Maybe spread the arms, so that left arm reaching up, right arm down. Good, you guys. Take one more breath here. Now that lower body is going to stay the same. You're going to bring the upper body upright to this funky twist. Bend your back knee at a hover. Squeeze those inner thighs toward midline. Keep reaching out through both arms, torso upright, core strong. Bend your back knee even more. Maybe touch the ground and bring it back up. Good. Last breath, you guys. Unwind. Come back to your high lunge. Arms reach up. And then exhale, hands down. And we're going to walk the hands over to the right. Spin the feet so all 10 toes face forward. Flat back as you inhale. Exhale, fold. Okay, so this time around, we're going to come into a twisting version of this pose. So let's come back to a flat back. Take the left hand to the ground just underneath the face. Take the right arm up toward the ceiling. Maybe that's your pose. Or take the right arm behind your back, fingertips toward the left inner thigh, And move your left hand over to the outer right ankle. And if you're not sure what the hell I'm talking about, you can take a look at the screen. And your elbow, left elbow moving toward the floor. Try to let your head relax here, your neck and your jaw. Good, and let's unwind out of that. Back to center, flat back. Keep the right hand on the ground for a moment. Stretch your left arm up for a twist. Maybe keep it there, or left arm behind the back, fingertips toward the right inner thigh. Right hand over to the outer left ankle or calf. Right elbow toward the floor. Let your head and your neck relax. Couple more breaths here. Good. And let's unwind out of that. Walk your hands back up to the top of your mat. Step it back. Plank pose. Chaturanga. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. Good. All right. Take your right leg back. Reach it up. Bend your leg open to your hip. And step it through. This time we're going to come to a warrior two position. Extending out through the arms. Good, so give yourself just a moment to set this up. See if you can root down pretty equally and evenly between your feet. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Open up your palms. So turn your palms up, slight bend in your elbows. Couple more breaths here. See where that breath takes you. Maybe it moves you a little deeper into the pose. Maybe it backs you off a little bit. Last full breath. Turn the palms back down, straighten up your right leg. Reach forward, right arm and fingertips. Triangle pose, Utkatasana. So right hand down, left arm stretching up. Good. Push with your left foot at the very back of your mat. See if you can grow a little longer through the spine and out through the crown of your head. Good. Take one more full breath here. Open it up. Good. Now gaze down at the floor. Bend into your front leg. And coming into what's called Ardha Chandrasana or half moon. So you're going to take this into a balance. So feel free to take a block or something underneath the right hand just as an extension of your arm. Root down and lift a little bit higher through the left arm and the left leg. Balancing here on your side. Turning your chest a little more open. Good. And then left hand back to the floor. Step back into your lunge and come to an upright crescent lunge. Good. Just give this a couple more breaths here. And hands to the floor. Take a vinyasa. So right foot steps back, lower down, Cobra or upward dog, and then downward facing dog on your exhale. Good. Left leg in the air. Reach it up. Bend your leg and open through your hip. Step that left foot through, warrior two. So feel the ground firmly and equally through both feet here. We're going to be here for several breaths. And so maybe noticing that this posture, this asana is alive. It's not just a statue that we're holding really still and steady, but we're allowing it to move with the breath. Turn your palms up, put a little bend in your elbows so the shoulders can relax a little bit down the back. And then notice after you've kind of set up this basic shape, this container, how does the breath move you from the inside out? Just get curious about that. A couple more breaths here. Good. Turn your palms back down, straighten out left leg. Triangle pose. So you'll reach forward, bring that left hand down, right arm reaching up. Good. Root down through your right foot at the back of your mat. Lengthen through the spine and out through the crown of your head. Open up your shoulder just a little bit. Good, you guys. 2 more breaths here. And look down at the floor. Let's set up for our balance. Ardha Chandrasana. Bend that front leg. Come forward. Pick up right arm and right leg. Balance here on your side. Strong and sturdy and rooted through that left foot and left leg. And again, notice where the breath takes you. Practicing this presence and mindful awareness. Good. Last full breath. Send the right hand down. Step back to your lunge and bring the arms back up. So you're in this high lunge, or what we call crescent lunge. Breathe here. Maybe start to open up a little bit more. And we'll send it back to the floor. Step back, plank pose, chaturanga. And make your way back to your downward facing dog. Good. Come down to your knees and just take a rest for a moment. Child's pose. Good. So essentially, in just a moment, we're going to go through that same sequence again, but add the twisting or revolved versions of those 3 poses. Okay, so revolved triangle, revolved half moon, and a revolved twist, or a, twisting lunge, which we've already done before, but we'll do it again. So just take a couple more breaths here. And then make your way back to downward facing dog. Lift the hips up. Right leg in the air, reach it up. Bend your leg and open. Step that right foot through, warrior 2. And start here, sitting up for our triangle pose. All right, so straighten up right leg. Reach forward, lengthen, bring the right hand down. If you happen to have a yoga block, that can be handy. Left arm stretches up. Give this a couple of breaths. And to help set us up for our twist, let's stretch the left arm forward alongside the ear and try to pull that left hip away from the shoulder. Lengthen the side body. Good. Now bring the left fingertips down to the floor or a block. Take your back foot forward a few inches and turn the toes a little more forward. So now we're trying to square off the hips here. Left fingertips on the floor or a block. Hug your right hip back and send your right arm up. So we're coming into this revolved triangle. Good. Both feet should be grounded to the floor here, legs as straight as possible. Couple more breaths. Right hip back away from the shoulder. Right fingertips reaching up. Last breath here. And let's bring the right hand back to the floor. Bend your front leg, sending it into half moon, regular half moon pose. So root down through that right foot, send your left arm up. So we were just here a moment ago, stacking the body on its side. Take another full breath. Now, bring that left hand down, square off the hips, keep the left leg in the air and parallel with the ground. Send your right arm up. Right fingertips reach up toward the ceiling. For a little extra challenge here, you guys, unweight your left hand, bring the hand to the heart. It's not required, just an option. Good. Now right hand comes down, step back to your high lunge, crescent lunge, reach up. So this is our lunge. We're going to come into our twist. Right hand to right thigh, reach left arm up, cross elbow over to knee, or you can bring that hand to the floor as we did before, palms together, prayer twist. Open through your chest here. Maybe spread the arms. Take another cleansing breath. You guys got it. Now unwind out of that. We're going to take the right leg back, reach it up, bend your leg and open, and take 3 big circles here through this right hip joint. Like you're drawing a big circle with the knee. Good. And then we'll bring that right leg into pigeon and stretch it out a little bit. So right knee forward. If this is not suitable for you today, if it bugs your knee, you can come onto your back and take figure 4 like this. And that's always an option. Otherwise, try to squeeze in through the inner thighs and walk your hands forward and fold. Good. Take 3 more breaths here. Nice. Make your way back up. You're going to shift over to your right hip so you can bring this left leg forward. But we're going to stretch the right leg, the one that was just in pigeon, out in front of us. Stretch the right leg forward and bring the sole of the left foot to the inner right thigh, like a seated version of tree pose. Take your arms up, lengthen, and then exhale and start to fold over this right leg. Just opening up hamstrings and low back. Notice the presence of your breath here. Good. And then make your way back up. Stretch up through your arms. Bring your left hand behind you. And just a little counter pose here. You can either just stretch your right arm back, or you could lift up and arch back. So you come up on top of your left hand and your left knee and arch the body back. If it bugs your neck, then cradle the back of your head with your right hand. Take another breath and bring it back to your seat. Nice job, you guys. All right, we have a whole other side to do, for better or for worse. So come back to your downward facing dog. Pause here, just get your bearings. Feel into your body. Slow your breath down a little bit. Mindful and deliberate breathing. Take your left leg in the air, reach it up. Bend your leg and open. Step your left foot through. Warrior two. So we're going to start here and then set up for triangle pose. So left leg straightens up. Reach the left arm in the rib cage forward, left hand down. Right arm stretches up, Utkatasana, triangle pose. Breathe here. And spread through the arms, open up through the heart. And to set up for our twist, we're going to stretch the right arm forward alongside your ear and try to separate the hip from the shoulder. Stretch through that, the ribs and the side body. Good. Exhale, right hand down. Step your back foot forward a few inches and turn the toes a little more forward. Now we're squaring off the hips toward the front of the room. Right hand stays down on the floor or block. Pull your left hip back and then send your left arm up for revolved triangle pose. We're trying to keep the hip square and the back heel down if possible. Couple more breaths here. Cleansing breaths in this twisting triangle pose. Good. Left hand down to the floor, half moon on this left side. So bend into your front leg, left hand forward, right arm and right leg go up. Stack the body on this left side. You've been here before, so just revisiting this for a breath or two. And then taking your twist, so the right hand goes down, you'll square off the hips, keep that right leg parallel with the floor, and then send your left arm up for twisting or revolved half moon. Strong through that left standing leg. Again, maybe a little balance challenge here. Unweight your right hand and bring it to your heart. A couple more breaths. Good. Now release out of that. Step back to your lunge. So right foot to the back of the mat. Come to your upright or high lunge. Reach up tall. Left hand to left thigh. Reach to the right arm. We'll cross the elbow over to the knee or bring the hand to the floor. If you're in your prayer twist, pull your chest toward your thumbs toward the chest. Maybe spread the arms here for the last couple of breaths. Good, you guys. Unwind out of that, hands to the floor. Stretch your left leg back, reach it up. Bend your leg and open, and take some big circles through this left hip joint. So draw a circle, big circle with your left knee. And then bring your left leg through into pigeon. And again, you could take this on your back, that figure four stretch. Otherwise, keep it here, lift up, walk your hands forward and fold. Good. 3 more deep breaths here. Good, and then let's make our way back up. Shift over to that left hip so your right leg can come around. But then you're going to stretch the left leg forward. So the one that was just in pigeon goes forward for Janu Shirshasana. The right foot to the inner left thigh. Take your arms up, stretch up tall, and then forward fold over your left leg. Good, and just feel into your breath, your hamstrings, your low back. Where can you create a little bit of space? Where can you soften? Good, and then ease your way back up. Reach up tall. Take your right hand behind you, and for a little counter pose, stretch your left arm back. And maybe lift up on top of your knee and your hand and arch your way back. Good. You can always cradle the back of your head with that left hand. Take 2 more breaths here. And ease your way back to your seat. Good job, you guys. All right, so we're going to do one more twisting pose. So we did crow pose, Vashistasana, at the beginning of our practice. We're going to work with side crow. So my favorite way of getting into this is coming into a little squat. And you're welcome to do this with me if it's familiar to you, or you can watch it and then try it on your own. So we'll come into a little toe squat here. And I'll stretch my left arm up. It would be your right arm. Up and over, kind of like how we were coming into our twisting lunge. Aim the elbow to the knee. So we've been doing this a bunch today. Try to get your shoulder toward the knee, and then place your hands on the floor facing like 1/4 turn to your side. Take the elbow underneath your hip, and then you're going to move the whole thing forward, maybe picking up your feet. Either keeping it here or taking your top leg back and your bottom leg forward, coming into a little scissor. Okay? And the other option here is to not come into the full twist, but to take the hands over to the side. Let this elbow be free and balance on the one elbow. You could still scissor. But you'll notice that as you do that, the hip is higher. One hip is higher than the other. Okay. All right. Let's do this together. I'll talk you through it on the other side. So a little toe stand. Now let's go ahead and stretch the left arm up. Come up and over into a side bend, side body stretch. Good. Take your elbow to your knee. Maybe shift your shoulder closer to your knee. Your hands face was 1/4 turn to your right. Okay. Maybe drop down onto your right elbow with your hip. Shift your whole body forward. So you've got to move your shoulders and your head forward coming into this side crow. And then maybe scissoring the legs. How are we doing out there? Everybody did it? I can't see you, so you could claim you did it. Good. Perfect. So come out of that, and just one last thing here, you guys, a little tutorial. So if you're in this position, kind of like this with the arms straight, and you try to move forward, like there's no way you can move forward because you're gonna hyperextend your elbows, right? So if you bend your elbows and get the elbows underneath the body, and then instead of moving your elbows, moving your shoulders and your head forward, you could even bring your head down to the floor, and that's the position we want the arms, like a chaturanga arm. Okay? Is that clear? All right. You guys can push pause and play around with that if you want, but we're just about out of time. So go ahead and recline onto your backs. Hug your knees in. Rock side to side here. And we'll let both knees drop to the left for a spinal twist. Good, and then back through center. And let both knees drop to your right for the same thing on the other side. And slowing things down a little bit here. And take one more breath. And then bring your knees back up. Stretch your legs out to the floor. And I'd like for you to take any last finishing pose or sequence that suits you. So any, like a happy baby pose, bridge pose, or a shoulder stand, or an inversion of some sort. Anything that for you will tie up some loose ends and complete your practice. And then when you're ready, settling into Shavasana, corpse pose, stretching the legs out, opening up the palms and the heart. And again, coming back to this principle of Santosha, contentment beyond conditions, beyond what is happening to us. And I'll move you into Shavasana with some words by Mary Oliver. This is called Invitation. Oh, do you have time to linger for just a little while? Out of your busy and very important day, for the goldfinches that have gathered in a field of thistles, for a musical battle, to see who can sing the highest note or the lowest, or the most expressive of mirth, or the most tender. Their strong, blunt beaks drink the air as they strive melodiously, not for your sake, and not for mine, and not for the sake of winning, but for sheer delight and gratitude. Believe us, they say. It is a serious thing just to be alive. On this fresh morning, in this broken world, I beg of you, do not walk by without pausing to attend to this rather ridiculous performance. It could mean something. It could mean everything. It could be what Rilke meant when he wrote, "You must change your life." welcome to stay as long as you'd like in Shavasana. But whenever you feel ready to shift and transition, you can start to open up your senses a little bit and feel the body here lie on the ground. Start to move a little through your fingers and your toes. Come over to your side. Fetal position. And then all the way back up to your seat. And on your next in-breath, we'll stretch the arms up, lengthen. And then hands gather together at the heart. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the realities and truths of existence, the joy of growth, the splendor of action, the glory of power, the sweetness of love, and the exquisite pain of loss. For yesterday is but a memory, and tomorrow only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a memory of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. Join me for one round of Om. Take a full breath in. Namaste. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. See you next time.